Counselor Paulson, can you still hear us?
Yes, Mayor, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. Counselor Johnson?
Very good.
Counselor Johnson?
I can't.
Hello?
I have to get rid of my feedback here. I can hear
Can
you.
you
fine.
hear me now?
Yes, thank you very much. Counselor Beyondich, are you available?
Britt, can you hear me?
Can you hear us, Pam?
You can. Yeah.
Okay.
Counselor Beyondich, can you hear us? Counselor Beyondich?
Britt, can you manually unmute her?
We'll try.
Okay, I can hear you guys just fine.
We can hear you too.
Hey, fantastic.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody's on the line, so, okay.
Ready?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Virginia City Council meeting. Today's date is Tuesday, April 14th, 2020. I will call the meeting to order at 5:30 p.m. We are doing some of this through Zoom. We have some councilors present in the room and others remotely in on the Zoom conversation. We have our city clerk on remote, Councilor Baraboo, Councilor Freely, Councilor Barnzelli, and Mayor Cuffey are present, along with City Administrator Britt C. Bennis and our City Attorney Brian Silber. Pam, if you can hear us, could you please take the roll call?
Yes, I can.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Baraboo,
Present.
Friedlieb, Paulson. Here. Beyondich. Here. Johnson,
Here.
Baranzelli,
Here.
Cuffey.
Here. Would everyone please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll move to item 4, the public forum. Obviously, there is none this evening. This meeting is closed to in-person public. We'll move to item 5, the consent agenda. The following items will be enacted by one motion unless a councilor or a citizen of the City of Virginia requests that the item be considered separately. Item 5.1 is the approval and corrections of the minutes of the regular meeting that was held on March 24th, 2020, and the special meetings that were held on March 31st, 2020, and April 6th, 2020. Item 5.2 is the adoption of Finance Resolution Number 20-007, the Schedule of Bills. Item 5.3 is approve the renewal of the 2 a.m. liquor license/permit for Martini Incorporated, doing business as Tommy's Rainy Lake Saloon in Delhi. Those are the consent agenda items that are on for today. I'm looking for a motion from the council for approval.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as documented.
Or
A move by Councilor Freely to approve the consent agenda, and supported by Councilor Johnson. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 6, appearances. No appearances scheduled, obviously, because of the issues we're facing here. Item 7, unfinished business. We have no unfinished business. So we'll move on to item number 8, which are discussion items. Item 8.1 is for us to adopt a resolution to accept the COVID-19 response grant for short-term emergency funding. We discussed this at the committee of the whole meeting and brought this to the city council for approval for us to adopt the resolution to accept grant money for short-term emergency funding.
I'll move the adoption of the resolution. This is Councilor Johnson.
I'll support.
Moved by Councilor Johnson to adopt, supported by Councilor Bearable. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.2, approve the modifications to the City of Virginia Public Improvement and Special Assessment Policy.
Mayor, also move the special assessment policy.
A move by Councilor Bearable to approve the modifications to the City of Virginia Public Improvement and Special Assessments Policy as discussed at our committee whole meeting on April 7th. Is there support? Support by Councilor Freelieb. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. I'll move to item 9, which is committee reports. 9.1, the committee of the whole meeting that was held on April 7th, 2020. And I'll turn this portion of the meeting over to our city administrator, Britt C. Bennis. Britt?
At the committee of the whole meeting on April 7th, 2020, we had an electronic presentation by John Fido and Darren Alto regarding the Bridgeview Development Site. It was moved and supported to apply for and accept funding from IRRB for the demolition of the Midway Motel at the request of Mr. Fido and Mr. Alto.
Thank you. It was moved and supported at committee level to adopt the resolution. It passed at committee level. What is the, looking for a motion on this subject?
Mayor, I will so move the resolution to accept funding from the IRB for the demolition of the Midway Motel that still has to be gotten yet. We've applied, I believe, correct, Britt?
I am waiting for quotes still.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Pending acceptance by the IRRB.
Right. Okay, thank you. We haven't got the quotes back yet, but we're doing the preliminary steps of applying for the grant, and we'll be providing those updated quotes to the IRRB for approval for that funding, correct? So this is a preliminary resolution to apply for and accept funds in the event that we're able to come up with the quotes. Is there support? Support by Councilor Barnzelli. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
It's further discussed regarding the Cuyuna Drive turn from Highway 53 going south and the disappointment that from the Midway members, residents about that entrance being taken away. It was moved and supported to allow staff to contact MnDOT to set a meeting to discuss the reopening of the Cuyuna Drive intersection from the southbound Highway 53.
Do I have a motion? Moved by Councilor Freelieb to allow staff to contact MnDOT to set up a meeting to discuss the potential reopening of Cuyuna Drive. Is there support?
I'll support, Mayor.
Support by Councilor Barnzelli. Is there any further discussion?
Mayor?
Yes, Councilor Johnson.
Thank you, Council. Thank you, Mayor. I did not support the further meetings in the committee, and I'm not going to support it today. I just think that MnDOT has told us time and time again that it's just not an option, and I don't know, especially at this time, if additional staff or person hours are necessary. So I will not be supporting this. Not that I don't want to see it open. I just don't think that it's the appropriate time to be having that discussion with them.
Thank you, Counselor Johnson. Is there any other further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
Opposed? Okay. Roll call, please, Pam.
Okay. Johnson,
No.
Baranzelli,
Yes.
Cuffey,
Yes.
Baraboo,
Yes.
Friedlieb, Paulson,
Yes.
Beyondich.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-1. Thank you.
Mr. Matt Reed reviewed the SCH amendment that he had presented for the 2021-2023 Street and Infrastructure Project feasibility reports. SCH is requesting an increase of $4,400 for additional work requested by the city, including Borgren Road, Pine Mill Court, and prioritizing phasing and funding, with an additional amendment of up to $1,000 for assessment policy revisions. It was moved and supported to approve the amendment for the increased contract with SCH for the 2021-2023 street project feasibility reports due to amendments requested by the city in an amount not to exceed $5,400.
I'll move to
That-
approve.
Support.
Motion by Counselor Paulson to move to approve the amendment to the contract with SCH for the 2021-2023 street project, supported by Counselor Johnson. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Mr. Matt Reed of SCH discussed the 418 Pass-Through Park and Virginia Public Virginia Public Library entrance projects. Bids were received. They came in higher than it was expected. However, it was the recommendation of Mr. Matt Reed that we go with the low bidder of Max Gray Construction and accept the bid for the 418 Pass-Through Park and Virginia Public Library entrance projects in the dollar amount of $230,136.50. And I just want to point out that we have a lot of grant funding for both these projects.
Very good. Thank you, Britt. Okay. It was moved and supported at committee level to approve the contract, which is the awarding both projects in one bid. And at the committee of the whole, in April 7th, it was moved and supported to award the bid to Max Gray Construction based on the recommendations from our engineering and firm. Is there a motion to move forward with this?
I will move the award of the bid to Max Gray Construction in the amount of $230,136.50.
A move by Counselor Johnson to move forward with the award of this bid to Max Gray Construction in the amount of $230,136.50. Is there support?
I'll support for discussion.
Support by Counselor Friedlieb for discussion. Any further discussion? Counselor Friedlieb.
I'm just wondering, like, the grant money is going to cover how much of this $230,000? And if it's not all of it, have we budgeted accordingly to cover the costs?
The total grants we have for both projects are $130,000, and we have budgeted for both other projects, the remaining funds.
In what funds?
The library fund budgeted the library entrance portion, and then under actually my community development line item on the budget was the 418 pass-through park.
Well, these have been pre-planned and pre-approved.
These were supposed to be done last year, and they got carried over, so we made sure we put them in the budget for this year.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Do we have Matt Reed on the line by chance?
No.
You don't? Okay, thank you. Counselor Bearable.
Yeah, Mayor, after we got through doing that, I went back and took a look at what the bid was last year on this, and of course, the bid is higher now this year than it was last year. And I also had a conversation with Mr. Ralston, actually an email from Mr. Ralston on this project. And the more I look at this, and there's a point, you take a look at what some of the other communities like Hibbing, they never give business to anybody from Virginia. It's always Max Gray if they have a project over in that area. And looking at what he sent back, if we split that project into two, we can save $3,700. Now, is that worth a savings or not? That's my question, because the mobilization fee is one time. So it's not going to save much money there at all that I can see. So I'm thinking maybe we need to take a look at splitting that project. Give Max Gray one, the library project, and give Lindsay the pass-through park. That's my thing after looking at it again and with my email from Mr. Alston. And his numbers are correct, because I went back and looked.
Okay.
So that's my thought on it right now. And if I get outvoted, fine, but I'd like to see our local business get some of this project.
Yeah, thank you, Counselor Bearable. Any discussion from Counselor Paulson?
No, Mayor, not at this time. Thank you.
Okay, Counselor Beyondich?
No, as long as we have the money or funds to let this project go through, I'm fine with it.
Yes, thank you. I don't know if you heard our city administrator, we do have grant funding of about $130,000. The remaining have already been budgeted. Actually, this was supposed to be done last year, but it was budgeted both to our Community Development Fund for one project for 18 pass-through and the other in the library budget.
Okay, I'm fine with it.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Johnson, any further comments?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I guess I'd be interested in I did not get an email from anybody about that, so I guess I would like to at least see that if it was something to be considered. But the other part is that if I remember right, we tried bidding these separately, and they're small bids for construction companies. So bidding them together actually helped us to get a bid or two, if I remember correctly. So I think I'm very okay with this, and I realize that Matt Reed, the engineering department and staff have been diligent on this project. So I'm comfortable moving forward with these two projects.
Okay, thank you. I think that we did have bidded out separately last year, and we got one bid back,
First time we bid it, we got 0 bids.
0 bids, and then the
Second time we
second
bid it, we got
time,
one
we got one
for
bid.
the library project only.
And we looked at what we had budgeted for and what the project bid came in on, and it was a lot higher.
Correct.
So we decided not to accept that bid. And now the discussion at that point in time was then maybe it'd be best to bid the two projects together. Then maybe we would get some bids, and in fact, we did.
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay, thank you. Councilor Brunzelli, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yes, Mayor, I think that's a good, well, we're saving $3,700. I know it isn't a lot of money, but like Councilor Ralston said, he's a local contractor, and I don't remember the last time that we hired him. Or when?
The Alcott Fountain. So the fountain project, he was a contractor on.
Yeah, that's right. But I think it's a good deal. It shows we're flexible and we're not locked in with anybody. But the 3,700 caught my eye. Thank you.
So the question that I have is that, we've delayed this for a year already. Number one. Number two is that, is it even possible to split the bids out at this point in time? Because if we did, then the two bids that were given would not be accurate. Maybe the mobilization costs would be, but we'd have to rebid it separately, I would think. I don't know. I would ask, I would refer to our city attorney who's present. Brian, could you kind of give us your opinion with respect to how that process would work? If we didn't accept the bid on both projects together, would they have to be rebid separately?
Thank you, Mayor. I think that is what my opinion would be, because essentially what you'd be doing is fundamentally changing the project as we're presenting it. So the specs and the terms contained within the bids would be different, and essentially the procedure would be we would have to reject the bids that we received pursuant to this process and start anew by separating the projects, and kind of sounds like going back to square one.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Bearable?
Yeah, Britt, when these were sent out, I don't recall exactly how they were sent out. Were they sent out in two separate parts or all as one?
One bid.
One bid package. Okay, that makes it impossible at this point. but even if I'd like to see this happen, all right. I'm probably still going to vote no, but that's okay.
Okay, thank you. So by rebidding it, it delays the project significantly, and so, no, thank you. Okay, so it's been moved and supported to accept the bid from Max Gray in the amount of $230,136.50. Is there any further discussion?
Yes, Mayor.
Yes, Counselor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm having just a little bit of trouble hearing, but I heard something about an email. Was that email from a contractor, or did we all get that email? I just want some clarification because I couldn't really hear.
I believe Counselor Bearable had received an email from one of the contract bidders. He had indicated it was from Mike Ralston from Lindsay Enterprises, asking us to take another look at maybe splitting it out, looking at the cost, and by splitting the cost out, that based on the numbers presented in Schedule A and Schedule B of the bid process, that theoretically, if it stayed the same in the bid process, if we were able to separate them out, the city could, based on the numbers, save $3,700 based on the numbers. But the recommendation from our city attorney is that we'd have to scrap it and rebid them out again, and we don't know what those bids would come in at. Does that clarify?
Yes, thank you so much for that clarification. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Bearable, did you have something else you'd like to
No,
add?
I'll just clarify. It looks like from the email that I received, it was only sent to me. I don't know whether Carl got anything or not on this. But I just, because there's no other headers on there, it's just from Mike to me.
Okay, very good. Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
No,
Pam, would you please take the roll call?
Okay. Baranzelli. Cuffey.
Aye.
Baraboo.
no,
I didn't understand that one.
no, Pam.
No. Okay. Friedlieb. Paulson.
Yes.
Beyondich.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Okay.
Motion passes 5-2. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Matt Reed also gave an update on the Bailey's Lake Trail project and is requesting to advertise for bids. Funding for this project is being provided by the Minnesota Environment and Natural Resources Trust Fund, as recommended by the Legislative Citizen Commission on Minnesota Resources, not commonly known as the LCCMR. The bids will be accepted on May 4th, 2020, and will be presented to the council on May 5th, 2020. It was moved and supported to authorize SEH to advertise for bids for the Bailey's Lake Trail project.
Also move that resolution for bids, Mayor.
Moved by Counselor Bearable to authorize
I'll
SEH.
support.
Support by Counselor Paulson. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimous.
Mr. Steve Trudeau from Kraus Anderson informed the council on the bids received for the demolition of Owens Field redevelopment project. 4 proposals were received, with the low bidder being Mesabi Bituminous in the amount of $144,391.44. There was discussion regarding the IRRB funding for the demolition on this project, and I'm happy to report that we have received funding fully for that project. It is moved and supported to award the bid for Owens Field redevelopment project for the stadium and track demolition, known as part of MEC Phase 1, to Mesabi Bituminous in the amount of $144,391.44.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion for continued conversation if I could.
I'll support.
Moved by Counselor Freely to approve and support or for discussion, and approved and seconded by Counselor Bearable. Further discussion, Counselor Freely.
My wife and I were out walking the other day and walked over and around Ewan's Field, and it seems to me that like a lot of that could be salvageable. It's all bolted together, and I'm just wondering if there's been any consideration of dismantling and reassembling that at the new school site or selling it to some other athletic complex that may be in need of those types of bleachers, because I'm assuming they're still up to code. And so they're not?
I don't know that they are. And they actually are all out for bid right now. The bid closes tomorrow.
Oh, so they are,
They are trying to salvage what they can.
okay. All right. So this does take that into account?
Yeah.
In the event that if
If
somebody.
the school
bought-
doesn't, yeah, if it doesn't bid out through the school, they're going to salvage it as part of their bid package.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. There is some good material there that could be reused. Yeah.
Thank
Can I
you.
make a comment, Mayor?
Yes, Counselor Paulson.
Thank you. Counselor Friedlieb, I think that's a great suggestion. And I don't know if Ed Alto has been considered in this process, but I know on the at the Parkview softball field, I think they could use some bleachers if that would be something that could be repurposed in our own community. I think that's an excellent point to look into.
Thank you, Counselor Paulson. Normally, these demolition bids include the demolition company, whoever's awarded the bid, uses whatever possible way to salvage whatever they can out of that facility and look for a buyer or a bidder, or even as sometimes, I'm saying that Mesaba Bituminous would do this, but sometimes they donate to worthy causes some of those things as they demolish, and it's a tax write-off for them. I'm not saying that they're going to do that, but that's all part of a demolition bid, is to try to salvage what they can and demo what they can't salvage. Okay.
Is it something that that Ed Alto or our city crew could disassemble and reassemble and reutilize some of those?
Let them take a look.
Yeah, we'll have Ed Alto take a look at that. He has been in the discussion part of it throughout with Brian Silber, our Park and Rec Director. The school has removed everything that they wanted from that facility already. They're not going to repurpose anything else. So whatever is available that we can take and use for ourselves, we can do that. The bid still stays at $144,391.44. But if we choose to want to salvage something that the city can use, we certainly will do that. And I'll have our city administrator, Britt, and notify our Park and Rec Director and Public Works Director to take a look and see if there's anything anything else they want to take out of there. I know that Ed Alto had indicated that they had already gone through it, but and so had Brian Silber. But go through it one more time to determine, what we can salvage, and if we can, maybe we can utilize some of that, the bleachers and things of that nature. Regardless of what we do, the bid remains at $144,391.44. So it's been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion, Councilor Bearable?
My concern, Mayor, yeah, you're absolutely correct. Normally when those demolition bids go out, the contractor gets the salvage rights to what's left. And if we sit and mess around anymore and have our crews do something to salvage some of that, it's going to put this project behind, and it's on a time frame. If you look at the time frame schedule that they have for starting building and everything, so if they can do it quickly, fine. If it's already been looked at and there's nothing to save, I think we should just let it go, because we're going to pay the 144 anyway.
Yeah. Okay. We'll take a look. Thank you, Councilor Freelieb and Councilor Paulson. Any other further discussion with respect to this bid award to Mesaba Bituminous, who has the low bid for the demolition of the Ewens Field in the amount of $144,391.44, which is an IRRB demolition grant? Any further discussion? Seeing none, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Councilor Johnson?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
At the committee of the whole meeting, we discussed the Pine Mill Court Playground, which is another project that was on our list last year that we unfortunately did not get to. We have received grant funding for new playground equipment at the Pine Mill Court Park. It was moved and supported to proceed with the project of purchase of an installation of new playground equipment at Pine Mill Park and approve the quote from Midwest Playscapes for the purchase of equipment in the amount of $30,294.88.
I will move the installation and purchase of the project, $30,294.88.
Move to approve the grant for the Pine Mill Court Playground by Counselor Johnson. Is there support?
Support for discussion?
Support by Counselor Freely for discussion. Further discussion, Counselor Freely.
Mayor, there was a recent inquiry when somebody asked, like, where this new playground is going on that property. Is it replacing the existing?
Yeah, it's replacing the existing. The existing is not
Not
compliant.
added to it? Okay.
No, it's not compliant, so we'll take that up. The swings will stay, we'll put new swing seats on, but everything else will come out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Counselor Freely. Any further discussion on the motion to approve the Pine Mill Court Playground?
Just one thing, Mayor.
Yes, Counselor
This
Bearable.
includes the installation cost too, right? Or is that up above and beyond? Or is that our crews?
Our crews are gonna do
They're
that.
gonna do it. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
All ayes. Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
I just want to remind the council to make sure you're speaking close to your microphone because those at home on the Zoom are not able to hear. I had brought forward at the committee of the whole meeting a quote to replace the security system here at City Hall. Our current system is an old antiquated system that is separate. Each door is separate and each lock is separate and has to be programmed individually. Updates and replacement parts for our current system are no longer available. And we did apply for an OSHA grant, and it was received in the amount of $10,000 to replace our current lock system at City Hall. It was moved and supported to accept the grant funds from the Minnesota Department of Labor OSHA grant in the amount of $10,000 to be allocated to replacing the security access system at City Hall.
Do I have a motion to adopt the resolution?
Also move, Mayor.
Moved by Counselor Bearable. Is there support?
I'll support.
Was that you, Counselor Paulson?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay, Counselor Paulson supports. Moved and supported to adopt a resolution accepting grant funding from the Minnesota Department of Labor OSHA grant in the amount of $10,000 to replace the security access system at City Hall. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Freely.
Not to jump ahead of one, but I'm just inquiring as to, like, the grant for $10,000, will that be then applied to the lease for the company that will be? Okay, and does that cover the costs or just a portion thereof? We're still up in the air on that.
If we approve the grant, the next item, the proposal from Permark Security for $26,000, the $10,000 will be towards that $26,000.
Thank you.
Okay, moved and supported to accept the grant money from OSHA for $10,000. Is there any further discussion?
Just one thing.
Counselor Bearable.
One thing, Britt, does this have a sunset on that grant of a date we have to use it by?
Yes, and I believe it's 90 days from the day we sign the agreement. So 90 days from tomorrow?
Okay, so we had talked about going out in the next thing for rebidding from that original quote that we got from that company, correct, at our committee of the whole meeting?
That was not approved at the committee of the whole meeting. It was passed
Okay.
without a presentation.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So to clarify, we have 90 days in which to spend the money once the contract is signed, correct? Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
We had brought forward the quotes for the new security control access system here at City Hall. It was moved and supported to approve a 60-month lease with Permar Security for the access control system at City Hall with a monthly maintenance fee of $925 and a total installation cost of $26,167.
I will move to approve the 60-month lease with Parmar Security Access Control with the monthly fee and the total of $26,167.
Moved by Counselor Johnson to approve. Is there support? Support by Counselor Barnzelli. Further discussion? I have some further discussion. I'm not saying that this Permar Security isn't, a qualified security company. I know other communities and maybe governmental entities use Permar, but from my perspective, based on my past experience and training, I'd like to see a presentation. I know this is difficult under this COVID-19 pandemic, stay at home and unable to have some of these things. But before I approve something to this extent, and before I want to approve a 60-month lease in the amount of $925 a month, I'd like to see a presentation of the system that they're proposing us to do. That's just my personal perspective. I think it's part of our due diligence to try to do that. I know that our city staff has sent out for bids, received these bids, have made some inquiries to other communities that do use Permar. They do a lot of home security systems as well. But I'm not going to vote for it because I just like to see a demonstration on how this card access system works first, and I'd like a more in-depth knowledge about what some of the pitfalls might be, if any, and how we control that, and if there are any upgrades to the the software and others that we enter the hard costs. Do we, are those adjustments made based on do they make those changes for us as part of the contract or not? I mean, those kind of things. And I think we have to do this, no question about it. It's long overdue, but without seeing a presentation of how this works, I can't vote for this. So anyway, it's been moved and supported to move forward with the lease agreement with Permar. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none?
Sure.
Yes, who was that?
It's Counselor Johnson.
Counselor Johnson.
Thank you. I understand your point of view and I respect that. I feel that if this is what the police chief and staff want, and it's what city staff is want, I feel that it's as good a time as ever to move forward on it. And I trust that they are doing their due diligence, and again, with the travel restrictions and everything else, I just think it's best if we move forward at this. So I'll be voting for this today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Counselor Johnson. It's been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion?
Mayor,
Yes, Counselor Paulson.
thank you so much. How long is the lease agreement with them? And is there if we're not satisfied with the product or the level of service, is there an out clause?
It's a 60-month lease agreement, and yes, there is an out clause of I believe it's a 60-day notice.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Counselor Paulson. Counselor Bearable.
I'd like to see one other thing looked at, Brett. With all of the stuff with the COVID-19, is this company going to be able to satisfy, or do we just have to get them started within the 90-day time frame?
Just even getting them started would be enough for the Department of Labor.
Okay.
If we let them know that we did enter an agreement, it's just held up by COVID-19.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, just one more comment. At $925 a month for 60 months, in addition to the cost associated with the system. So, thank you. All right, moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
M&O.
Counselor Freely? Counselor Barnzelli? Aye, okay. All those opposed? No. Roll call, please, Pam.
Okay. Cuffey,
No.
Baraboo,
No.
Friedlieb, Paulson,
Yes.
Beyondich,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Baranzelli.
Thank you. Motion passes 5-2. Thank you.
Finance Director Sherry Erickson presented a resolution approving the transfers of the recommended funds for the year ending December 31st, 2019. At the Committee of the Whole meeting, it was moved and supported to forward the resolution for transfers to the Special Revenue Fund, Debt Service, Capital Projects, Enterprise, and General Funds for the year ending December 31st, 2019.
Also move that resolution, Mayor.
Moved by Counselor Baraboo to adopt the resolution of the transfer of funds. Is there support? Support by Counselor Friedlieb. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
City Attorney Brian Lindsay discussed declarations of hazards of properties in Virginia. We have resolutions in the packet to adopt a resolution to proceed with the process for repair or removal of a hazardous condition or blighted structure on the properties. And the first one is at 110 3rd Street South.
Okay. Was it moved and supported at committee level to proceed with the process for the repair and removal of the hazardous conditions on the blighted property of 110 3rd Street South? Do I have a motion?
Also move, Mayor.
I will move.
Okay, moved by Counselor,
110 3rd Street South.
moved that Counselor Baraboo and supported by Counselor Johnson. That work?
Perfect.
Okay, further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Another resolution for the process, to proceed with the process for repair or removal of hazardous conditions or blighted structures at 707 9th Street North.
Moved by Counselor Freelieb to adopt the resolution to proceed with the process of repair and removal of hazardous conditions at 707 9th Street North. Is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Was moved and supported to adopt the resolution to proceed with the process for repair or removal of a hazardous condition or blighted structure at 901 2.5 Avenue South.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Also move.
Moved by Counselor Paulson and supported by?
I'll support, Mayor.
Supported by Counselor Baraboo to adopt a resolution to proceed with the process for repair or removal of hazardous conditions or blighted structure of 901 2.5 Avenue South. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And the final resolution to proceed with the process for repair or removal of hazardous conditions or blighted structures at 1006 2nd Avenue South.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Who was that?
Support.
Moved by Counselor, was that Beyondich?
Yes.
Moved by Counselor Beyondich and supported by Counselor Johnson to adopt the resolution to proceed with the process for the repair or removal of hazardous conditions or the blighted structure of 1006 2nd Avenue South. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Carl McGurn from Kraus Anderson brought forward a proposal from IEA for hazardous materials inspections at the Miners Memorial Building and Owens Field Stadium. The inspection will determine asbestos and other hazardous materials in the buildings prior to demolition, and the cost was projected to be $2,750. It was moved and supported to approve that proposal from IEA for the demolition, for the hazardous materials inspection, and I'm happy to report that is also covered under the IRRB grant.
Fantastic. What a partner. Thank you.
Great.
So moved.
Moved by Counselor Johnson. Is there support? Support by Counselor Freelieb to approve the proposal for the asbestos demolition inspection and project design for the Miners Memorial Building in Ewens Field from IEA at a cost of $2,750, which is covered under the cost approval from the IRRB grant. So, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
That is all I have from that meeting.
Thank you, Britt. We'll move to item 10, Commission Liaison and Department Head Reports. Does any city councilor have a report they'd like to make before the council this evening? Seeing none, we'll move to our, I'm sorry, yes, Councilor Johnson. Did
It was
someone,
not me, Mayor.
oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. I must have a
Oh,
hearing.
It may have been me.
Okay,
but
Councilor
I didn't
Beyondich.
have anything to report.
Pardon?
I didn't have anything to report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, and do we have Sherry on the line? No? Okay, she's off today. Pam, do you have anything that you'd like to dispense to the council for a council meeting tonight?
Yes, I do. Just a reminder for Thursday, 9 o'clock. There are a couple options how to attend the meeting. We need a minimum of 4 that are on the local Board of Appeals. So if anybody wants to let me know who will be attending, and we will be doing a Zoom meeting with Sarah Simic from St. Louis County. And she will be having her information on the monitors at City Hall. So
Okay, thank you, Pam.
that's
So for the 9 o'clock meeting, it'll be a Zoom meeting with Sarah Stimek from St. Louis County Assessor's Office and a minimum of 4 of the city councilors who are on the Board of Appeals to be on this meeting as well for the Board of Appeals. Is that correct, Pam?
correct.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor, I will be here for the meeting at 9 o'clock on Thursday.
Okay, Councilor Baraboo will be one of the councilors that are sitting on the Board of Appeals. Are there any other councilors that will be participating?
I
Councilor,
will be, Mayor. This is Counselor Johnson.
okay, Councilor Johnson, Councilor Freelieb, and Councilor Baraboo, and Councilor Barnzelli,
Okay.
and myself, Mayor Cuffey. And the other councilors also welcome. Councilor Beyondich or Councilor Paulson, you're also welcome to attend if you choose to do so. And so we do have 5 that are going to be attending, and everybody's welcome to do so. So if your schedule permits to get on Zoom, you're welcome to do that, Councilor Paulson and Councilor Beyondich.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Anything else, Pam?
No, that should do it.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Rick, do you have anything else? Okay. We're still waiting for some more clarification with respect to the governor's office. There's been a lot of rumors and innuendo going around about the extension of some of the powers that the governor has decided that he's going to extend. There was some confusion that it was going to be the stay-at-home order, some other things, but it's my understanding that from the order is only, the extension of the order from May 4th to May 13th is only extending his powers and authority under the emergency declaration to make decisions to determine what needs to be done. Nothing else has changed, just the fact that he's extended his powers to make those decisions up to May 13th from May 4th. So that, hopefully that clarifies any confusion. I've received a lot of calls and emails about that, so. Councilor Baraboo.
Yeah, I had a conversation with our Representative Lizelgard this morning on another purpose. I didn't have to do that, but he mentioned that to me, that it was all set on both sides, both parties, that was going to be what was brought up. He was on his way to St. Paul at that time for this particular finalization on that. But both sides had agreed, he said, so it was going to be just basically a quick vote and it was done. And that was what he told me this morning.
Yeah, very good. We look for the decision on the governor moving forward. And I just want to say, you know, I mean, as elected officials, I think I can speak for all of us when I say we're just our guts are just turning because, you know, how this affecting our community, the citizens, the people who are at risk, the businesses who are suffering as a result of this pandemic and the governor's emergency declaration. And we're trying to comply the best we can as a community. And I know across the Iron Range, in Virginia particularly, we are doing our very best to try to what they call flatten the curve. So I just want to say, you know, we're all struggling to make ends meet as well. We just feel for all of you, and we hope that, you know, this changes and that we can get back to work and get back to some sense of normalcy as soon as we can. And I hope that the governor, you know, with all the information that he gets from the Department of Health and the CDC and all the experts that have some experience in this area, maybe a decision can be made to start looking at, you know, how we can reopen up some of our businesses. And I know there's a task force down at the state that's trying to do that. I hope that they can make that decision and we come out with some opportunity, you know, to bring us back, you know, get people back to work, get the businesses back on board, get the restaurants open and the barbershops and all the non-essential businesses moving forward again. We're all suffering as a result of that. You know, I must say I don't suffer as much, but I know that people in this community are, particularly those who have families to feed and they don't have an income now. So, yeah, God bless everybody, and I hope, you know, you just stay safe, continue to follow the orders as prescribed, and we'll get this together. So, and again, we also want to thank our city staff and our city workers, particularly the essential workers who are working hard every day, the police, the fire, the public works, everybody who is an essential employee, who works there every single day because they're sacrificing just like you are. So we're trying to provide the core services. I know that garbage is an issue for you. We've got a full service garbage crew going out there. The area with respect to recycling, that's been a challenge for you. I know the recycling bins have been filled up and overflowing. We try to get the county down there to take care of that for us, but just continue to do so. The garbage is continuing to pile up. The recycling that would normally go into recycling are now going into the garbage cans. We urge you to use the one over at by the city barns over there in Ridgewood, but I know many of the recycling things are going in the garbage, which is filling the garbage cans up more quickly. We have added a couple of more garbage cans in some areas to try to accommodate and mitigate that. We're re-looking at what we're going to be doing with our recycling and our inspections for property improvements and those kind of things. And we're continuing to try to do whatever we can to mitigate and minimize the impact that's going on and the impact on you as in the service that we provide. So we ask you to continue to be patient and observe the stay-at-home order as designated by the governor's office. And as soon as we can do anything, we'll certainly make sure that we can try to do what we can. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to call or email any of the city councilors, myself, the mayor, our city administrator, city clerk. Go on this interactive website. There's lots of information on there. You want to report something, we'll get back to you as quickly as we can. So just hang in there and we'll get through this together. So thank you, everybody. And if there's no other information to come before the city council today, we will stand adjourned to our next council meeting, which is Tuesday, April 28th, 2020 at 5:30 p.m. And just a reminder to all the city councilors, we do have a special meeting on Friday, special meeting, committee of the whole involving personnel. So thank you, everybody. Be safe and help each other out. We stand adjourned. Thank you.